Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Levi.
And I'm Josh.
And today we are going to be focusing on when is the best time to travel to Tasmania. As a traveler, you're probably wanting to get the most out of your holiday, and everyone has a different way of traveling. So today we're hoping that by the end of the video, you know the best time to travel Tasmania for your personal preference. We're just gonna outline a lot of recommendations, kind of what happens throughout the year in Tasmania, the weather, the festivals, things to do, and then by the end, you can make the decision yourself. We will just provide, I guess, a rough overview of that. So let's just kick it off with summer.
So the first season that we'll actually talk through is summer, kicking off between December and February, as it does for the rest of Australia as well. Typically within Tasmania, the sort of ideal temperature range, or sort of at least where it sits, is generally, and again, like you can still get all four seasons in one day, which is what we're famous for. They're sort of between 17 and 24 degrees or thereabouts. So certainly ideal for outdoor activities. It can be a very warm, probably 17 to 24 degrees typically. Bit of bite in the sun, so ideally you've got sun protection as well, you know, sunscreen, hats and that kind of thing, but you can also be prepared for snow over that 3-month period as well.
It's quite random when that happens. You'll wake up one morning and you're like, oh, there's snow on the mountain. But then the UV's hitting 13 as well the same day. So really be prepared for that component and side of things.
Yeah, and maybe a rain jacket as well. Certainly a really exciting time in Tasmania, certainly the busiest part of the year. So expect a few more people probably than, you know, sort of the rest of the year. But great for beaches. So heading to areas like the East Coast and heading to Wineglass and Bay of Fires. Great, and so ideal for hikes and, you know, just sort of chilling out a little bit. Number of awesome festivals around the place as well, you know, particularly a taste of summer within Hobart too, and that coincides with the Sydney to Hobart boat race as well. So the wharf and the sort of the centre of Hobart is certainly a hub for some really cool activity and a really great vibe for a couple of weeks there, isn't it?
Yeah, you can visit the rest of Tasmania in this time as well, but Hobart really is the epicenter of a lot of the festivals that are happening. So that might be your consideration going. Hobart is probably a good base for this time of year. And then from there, you can branch out and do all your side trips, your day trips, like a trip to the East Coast, maybe Northwest, go check that out. But yeah, Hobart really is buzzing in summer throughout that time of year. One other thing that happens in summer is the music festivals. Now in Tasmania, we used to have quite a number of them, but this has kind of reduced in recent years. But I do want to mention 3 of them. 1, Party in the Paddock. 2, The Great Escape. And 3 is Good Gum Nuts. So if music festivals are your type of thing, make sure to come down in summer, because that's going to be the time at which you find yourself experiencing all the music.
So the consideration for summer is that typically, because it is a peak season and there's a few more visitors, a few more flights, there's certainly a few more people around, is typically it's a little bit more expensive time of year as well, from hiring a car if that's what you wanted to do, to actually getting here via either boat or plane, including like accommodation options as well. Very, very much typically the most expensive time of year. So a consideration, don't let that turn you off, because it's a great time to be down here, but just a factor to sort of consider as to when you might actually travel and come down.
Next up, we have autumn, and this is my second favorite season personally, because I am a massive fan of photography. So you're looking at a little bit cooler weather. As we've already said, Tasmania's weather can change quite rapidly, so be sure to come prepared with layering if you're going on hikes. Even if you're in the CBD, a puffer jacket is always welcomed. But
a week ago it was raining, wasn't it? So
it was very wet. And then the north of the state, for me, while I was there Monday, Tuesday, perfectly sunny. So just keep that in mind. Now, most of your activities are probably going to be around hiking and looking at the turning of the Fagus as well, which is in Mountfield and Cradle Mountain. They're your main 2 areas, and we've got videos on both of those that I will link to either on the screen somewhere or in the description below. So make sure to go check those out. Depending on where you are in the state, I would say both are actually great places to go and see.
Yeah, 100%. Also like a really cool time of year again, like a couple of festivals. 10 days on the island, like some really cool sort of statewide based events and sort of community driven events as well. Got trail graze as well, local farms and sort of produce tasting as well. AgFest, really cool agricultural festival that happens up north as well. Stanley and Tarkine Forage Festival too, Australian Musical Theatre Festival in Launceston. So again, like a sort of heading into that more transitional season into winter, there's still a number of things that you can come down and enjoy, and certainly some very good reasons to really enjoy your time down in Tasmania as well. Outside of that, what would be the considerations for autumn?
Keep in mind you've got Easter, which is a busy time of year. Like car rentals just shoots up, pricing can go up throughout that time as well. You'll have probably a peak of tourists visiting over that time, especially with school holidays. But outside of that weekend and school holidays, it is a lot quieter than summer. So keep that in mind. Pricing, again, over Easter will shoot up a little bit, but if you're traveling around that, then you can probably expect a bit more of a calmer, more peaceful traveling experience around the island state.
So winter's the next season that we'll sort of talk through, so June and August. Look, what to expect here is, I'm sure you can probably imagine, pretty cold, pretty wet, often not regularly making it sort of above that 10-degree mark. Certainly colder, but some frequent snow too that can occur sort of up on Mount Wellington and Hobart, Ben Lomond up north, and certainly plenty around the Cradle Mountain sort of region as well. So certainly plenty of that coming on. It can be a really beautiful and really pretty time of year to come down to Tasmania. In terms of what you would be looking to do, look, there is some sort of snow boarding and skiing that you can do at Ben Lomond. I wouldn't necessarily sort of pitch your whole visit sort of around doing that necessarily. It can be sort of a little bit hit and miss at times. But look, if there's a really good snowfall, it can be an enjoyable activity if that's what you're into as well. But it's a really good time to sort of kick back, relax, sit by a wood fire, indulge in some good whiskey or wine, and stay at some sort of nice bougie accommodation if your budget allows for that.
Yeah, definitely. Just a short story I remember as a kid going up to Cradle Mountain, walking around the Enchanted Walk and then Dove Lake, seeing the snowfall on Cradle Mountain. Towards the end of the walk, the snow actually began to fall. You get the shuttle back into the lodge, go and have a nice, pub meal, and then there's this nice open fireplace. It's kind of in the middle of the room, just sitting around and thawing out and just having a nice hot glass of hot chocolate as a kid while Dad's having the beer. I was a bit young for that at that age, but yeah, it was just so magical as well as a child, just driving in. So that driving experience, it will only happen if you have a car as well. So car hire is essential, but make sure that you are aware of what the company allows in regarding to snow driving. Some will not want you to take it into snow at all, so read the terms and conditions and be aware of that no matter who you choose to hire with. In terms of some of the cool things that are going on during winter, and again, sort of covering off a couple of the festivals, Dark Mofos are a really big one that occurs in June, probably what we would describe as provocative sort of arts, and then the Winter Feast as well, so some showcasing some of the great food that we have in the state as well. Festival of Voices, so sort of June to July typically, vocal performances, workshops, and some more community-based events as well. Bishno Beam, so a little bit sort of out of the way, a reasonable drive to Bishno, but some spectacular light displays. Again, a really good sort of week that happens over. And then lastly, Tasmanian Whisky Week. So if you're a whiskey fan, you're certainly going to get the best Tasmania has to offer over that couple of days as well. And our considerations, one of the biggest ones is we don't have daylight savings, which we didn't mention in the previous months. You've got almost 16 hours of daylight back in summer. You've got that shortening throughout autumn, and then it cuts off when daylight saving ends. And then in winter, you've got your winter solstice in there as well, which we're getting 8 to 9 hours of sunlight in a day, where the morning and evening light is actually quite faint as well. So you really got to plan your days to maximize that daylight. Keep that in mind. With Dark Mofo, there's people everywhere. So yeah, that's kind of another peak of tourists throughout that time of year. And then there's also also road closures as well. If you do want to go traveling to snowy areas, just keep in mind that roads do close from time to time. The Mount Wellington summit is generally off limits to cars most of the time when there's snow, just because of how many accidents have happened up there. The roads just get really icy. Black ice, I'll mention that as well. Just give that a Google if you don't know what that is, and then keep in mind that that is something that's very likely to occur up in those alpine conditions, especially in the highlands of Tasmania, which is beautiful, by the way, so please don't let it turn you away, but just be cautious and careful of that.
I think from a weather standpoint, one of the more predictable seasons is that it is just going to be cold, so yes, dress warmly, pack the thermals, pack the jackets. Wouldn't necessarily walk around in just a t-shirt and shorts. It's a very Tasmanian thing to do, but most visitors probably find that it's a little bit on edge in terms of weather.
Waterproof shoes if you have any, like hiking boots. There's nothing worse than being caught up at Cradle Mountain, Mount Field, Mount Wellington. You get caught in the snow, and then you're walking through the snow with just normal sneakers. They get soaked, your feet get soaked, and then all of a sudden you're very cold. That is not a condition you want to be caught in, and there have been people that needed to be rescued from the mountain because they just came unprepared. So please keep that in mind. If a walk is like moderate to easy, maybe even make that a little bit more challenging when you consider the snow as well. So winter is not a time to be just playing around in. It is very beautiful, but please come prepared. Lastly, we have spring, which is hands down my favorite season to be exploring and out in nature, because the cool climate of Tasmania is slowly warming up. You have nice, warm, balmy afternoons, great for reading a book. Maybe you go and stay at an Airbnb and just relax for those afternoon sunny days. But you've got the spring flowers coming out, starting to bloom. It's really a magical time here in Tasmania. Personally, I'll be out hitting the trails, hiking, and maybe spending a bit more time outside rather than rugging up and exploring the mountains as we were in winter. You're probably starting to actually maybe go cafe crawling, walking around the Hobart CBD a little bit more, up on the east coast, and starting to get into that warmer climate in which those outdoor activities are starting to become more prominent again. That would be the main thing. Temperature-wise, again, as usual, expect that you should bring some layers because we generally have this burst of warmth and then it cuts back again. It goes cold, and then the warmth will start kicking in again later on, maybe like November.
There's a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there? It's like the days are getting that little bit longer, getting that little bit warmer. If you're in the sun, it's okay. As soon as the sun disappears, it gets cold fast, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what sort of events and festivals do we have going on throughout spring?
Yeah, so certainly the big one that even a lot of locals make the effort to go and see is the Table Cape Tulip Farm for what is a very sort of short period of time, at least in their sort of primary bloom of about a week or so. The tulips up at Table Cape actually start to come up, and the local council up there also runs like their festival up there out of Vineyard too. So yeah, like a cool sort of couple of days to week, get some really pretty beautiful photos as well. Take your loved one, take your family, go and sort of walk in the red dirt, take a white pair of shoes that you'll never be able to wear again because they're quite brown and dirty, and enjoy yourself while you're up there. As well as that, there's the Junction Arts Festival in Launceston as well, Great Eastern Wine Week that's happening too. There's the Nubina Bee Festival, bit of a shout out to the Nubina Bee Festival.
Yep, I love myself some honey, so yeah, if that's you as well, make sure you go check that out. I don't think it's a massive event, but there's honey there. So if you
celebrate the beauty of bees.
Yeah. Lovely.
We all love a bit of honey. And then if you're sort of a little bit more down the niche direction, the Tasmanian Craft Fair for a couple of days as well. For those of you that are arty and crafty, which I'm certainly not, and you're not either.
I'm not, but my dad, every single year, he'll always send me a selfie. Oh, Levi, check out what I've just found at the craft fair. I'm like, Dad, it's not my vibe, but I'm glad that that's your vibe. So he makes sure he goes and checks that out every single year.
So yeah, like I suppose outside of that, it's like sort of Levi articulated earlier, it's getting warmer, it's getting that little bit nicer, but still worth, again, spring, probably similar to autumn in that sense, a little bit unpredictable. So all 4 seasons in one day type packing. Certainly have depending on how long you're down for, a bit of a glance at the forecast before you make the effort of coming down, and just be prepared bed. We'll tie this off with some practical advice just to end the video. Look, practically speaking, particularly if you are sort of renting a car or even driving your own, sort of off the spirit, just cautious of wildlife at dawn and dusk. Just be cautious about wildlife potentially making its way onto the road. Nothing worse than sort of having to be in the middle of your holiday or your break and have something like hitting an animal. Obviously, very unfortunate for you, but also very unfortunate for the wildlife as well. So again, just be cautious sort of when driving, particularly in rural areas. Same approach to icy winter roads during winter, and again, that's not just isolated to winter, but can sort of creep in spring and autumn as well, and on the odd day summer too. So again, just something to be mindful of when driving around, and also road closures that sort of come along with that as well. When thinking about accommodation, and particularly around peak periods like your summers, school holidays, and Easter as well, just be thinking about trying to book as early in advance as you can. Typically you're saving a little bit more by getting that little bit further ahead and not leaving it to the last minute. The sort of major centres within Tasmania do have a tendency to book up pretty quickly by the time we actually get to those peak periods as well. So yeah, get in early while you can.
Definitely. So another thing is camping. If this is something that you're wanting to do in summer, it's going to be lovely. But again, as with accommodation, book in advance for the places that do need bookings. For places that are free to stay, you really need to be getting there quite early in the day. Otherwise, you will be just looking for a campsite forever. If you're planning to go 5 p.m, we'll go find a campsite in this free place. Sorry, buddy. Everything's going to be completely gone. I actually have some friends that were out until 1 a.m. looking for a campsite, and I'm like, why did you leave it until 7 p.m? So please keep that in mind if camping is something you're wanting to do. Again, book in advance.
In terms of packing, so like we talked about, layers, waterproof jackets for the applicable season as well. If you're thinking about hiking, certainly sturdy shoes as well. Certainly think about who your mobile carrier is. So Telstra typically has the better service and the better range within Tasmania. Like Optus is probably the next best option from there, but probably is a little bit more limited in some areas. So if you need things like maps or looking for directions, certainly have those downloaded in advance before heading off as well.
Yeah, there's one local experience that just happens all year round in the city of Hobart, and that's Salamanca Market. So no matter what time of year you're coming to visit, know that is on, it's happening, and yeah, you can pretty much spend your whole Saturday morning there. So that's just one I just want to throw in as well.
I think it's only been called off like 3 times in 40 years or thereabouts. It's quote me on that stat, but it's not many times.
Yeah, if it's pouring with rain and you look outside and you're like, no one's going to be there,
there'll be people there.
Yeah, there'll be people there. Overall, I think that's pretty much everything we want to cover.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have a bit of an idea of when you want to travel and you're not more confused. But I think that any time of the year is really going to be pleasant for you here in Tasmania, whether you're in summer and enjoying some outdoor activities or you're rugging up around a fire in winter. Tasmania has a lot to offer and you're going to have a great time down here.
It's all about what you want to get out of the trip, isn't it? So yeah, pick the time that's right for you and come down and have some fun. Look, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us and actually watching the video as well. Like and subscribe. If there's any way you can support us, that's certainly a way to do it. Share as well. Leave some comments. Let us know what sort of future topics you'd like us to sort of cover off on, and we'll look to incorporate that into future videos as well.
Definitely, like any questions, put them in the comments. We'll pin them to the top if they're helpful, just so everyone can kind of see any information that we've missed. If there's any festivals that you love, chuck that in the comments and we'll just make sure to share it with everyone. But thank you so much for watching, getting all the way through if that is you. And until next time, let's continue unearthing Tasmania together. Peace.